Hey everybody, off the Mike Sports Network here, off the top rope. So Raw in Brussels, Belgium, pretty solid show. But there is something glaring that is going on this road to WrestleMania. Um, and I hate this because I think the world of Jey Uso, I think the world of him, and a lot of this isn't really his fault. Um, I just don't know what in the heck is going on here. It might be just a combination of the booking, or I don't know where their heads are at in terms of, and you're bound to have a couple of clunkers on the road to a WrestleMania match, but this build with him and Gunther to a world championship match, the guy who won the Royal Rumble, I've got to say has been incredibly underwhelming. It really stinks. Jay's entrance is still as great and as lit as there is in the business, but between some of his moves not landing, which obviously the whole dive to the outside was unfortunate. It didn't really and there's been a couple of good segments with Gunther's actually, finally, like, this world title run is not really clicked, but when he's been able to wrestle and go up against, like, people like Axiom in Spain last week. He faced off against both members of Alpha Academy and beat them, and really kind of showcased why he is so great. And I know a lot of people are not necessarily, Gunther's not necessarily their cup of tea, but this hasn't felt like a world title feud. This honestly feels like a mid-card feud right now, and that's not what you want, and that's why I say this is really underwhelming. um but and like I said, some people are going to attack Jey Uso. I'm not going to do that. This guy earned this spot. He has been one of the top stars in this promotion the last 2+ years. He has earned his way into a high profile Royal Rumble win spot to face Gunther for the World Heavyweight title. I ultimately think he should win. There's a legion of people on the small part of the internet that think that Gunther should win. I don't think that makes any lick of sense whatsoever. I don't think that I don't think that this is Jey Uso's fault. I think that this feud has just not really connected and is the victim of a couple of things. Number one, we've seen Jey Uso and Gunther face each other a lot, especially recently before Jey Uso won the Royal Rumble. That's the first problem. And we were like, okay, how are we going to get to another match between these two? And then, to be honest with you, outside of, like, wrestling, there's nothing real. And really the initial point where, Jey Uso, committed to facing Gunther, which we knew was going to happen. Nothing's really happened in this feud. It's basically been the same thing. Gunther's been trying to sneak attack and trying to one up, and Gunther's trying to prove a point that Jey Uso is kind of a joke. It doesn't belong in his league. And that's really all that they've done. And we've had this going on since, the Royal Rumble about a month and a half ago. And we still got 4 or 5 weeks until we get to WrestleMania. And I don't like, here's the thing. They're doing something in Scotland next week. It's a tag match between A-Town Down Under, Austin Theory got completely jobbed out, which, I don't know what that was, if it was a case of timing or something, but it was a really, weird, odd decision to, like, go for that. And after Grayson Waller kind of got a full-on match, or more of an extended squash. So, but it's going to be A-Town Down Under, Grayson Waller and Austin Theory taking on Jey Uso and a partner of his choosing in Glasgow. So people are thinking in their minds, and you know what? Maybe it does happen. But the obvious way to go here is for Jimmy Uso to be Jey Uso's tag team partner. That's the obvious thing that would happen in this situation. That just feels obvious to me. Now people will naturally think, oh, guy, you have to just say somebody's name and he'll appear. And Joe Hendry in Scotland potentially showing up would be a massive, massive pop. Now, from a storyline perspective, that makes zero sense whatsoever. Zero sense, considering Gunther's only real, personal angle that he's done in this entire feud so far is, have a conversation with Jay's brother Jimmy on SmackDown after he beat Axiom in Spain. And I just, I just have the feeling that if they're going to go to a personal length here, this would make a ton of sense. And I know it's not going to be a popular decision, but if they want to try and drum up some more interest in this feud, then I would definitely have Jimmy be the partner in this situation and ultimately have Gunther attack him. and, make it be like one of those situations like, hey, Jimmy has to go rescue has to go or Jay has to rescue his brother Jimmy, or Jimmy has to rescue his brother. Like some way you can create something, because like I said, as of right now, for a long time, I thought, okay, there was the world, like, there was a chance because of Jey Uso that maybe they could end a night of WrestleMania with him winning the world title. At this point, I don't see a way that this is going to be a main event. Because we know that the main event of this entire thing on night two, the last match that's going to be on the show, is going to be John Cena Cody Rhodes. That's just it. Like that's going to end this show. That's going to end WrestleMania 41 in Vegas on Sunday night, April the 20th. That's just happening. Like if you got a problem with that, that's like, I mean, first of all, you don't know what you're talking about, and secondly, you really just don't understand like star power and everything. That's not to disrespect Jey Uso, but again, like I said, I think they've kind of backed themselves into a corner with what they've done in this feud, because again, they've done this match a lot when Gunther was the Intercontinental Champion. They had him face I think they faced in the King of the Ring tournament before Gunther got to the World Heavyweight title. They literally had a match at Saturday Night's main event a week before the Royal Rumble that Jey Uso won another shot to face Gunther. So it's a weird way, and I was willing to give it a chance to see how this played out, and it has been incredibly underwhelming. Through I honestly I can't really pinpoint. I don't think it's any one person's fault. A lot of people are going to point to Jey Uso saying he's not a main eventer. I don't agree with that. People are going to blame it on Gunther because, hey, he hasn't been a great champion. I think there's bits and pieces that have contributed to this, not one singular thing. And it's a rare miss for Triple H. It really is. I'm sure it'll be a great moment at WrestleMania if indeed Jey Uso wins, and I think he will. But it's like at this point, it's just like every time a segment happens, it does not feel like the biggest thing on the show. It doesn't help that John Cena and Cody Rhodes are now taking up time. And, obviously you've got the CM Punk, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins stuff taking up time on Raw as well. But your world championship feud just does not feel as big of a deal as it should, because let's call it what it is. Cody Rhodes is technically a SmackDown championship. That's what's going on here. And it's just like one feud feels significantly bigger than the other. And this one involves the Royal Rumble winner. And it just does not feel nearly as big as it should at this stage in the game. And like I said, I'm not going to just be one of these idiots on the internet and blame and point fingers at one individual entity. I think there's pieces of the pie that go one way and pieces of pie go all over the place. Like this is between like, doing the match over and over again, to the fact that, Jey Uso was a great Royal Rumble winner. And it's just like, and also they just have made some really odd choices in terms of how to build this feud. They've literally done the same thing for most weeks, and nothing has really changed in how we feel about this feud. It's like, okay, Jey Uso's getting a world championship match at WrestleMania. We've known that for a month now. So it's been an odd thing, and I had to come on here and I kind of voice this. I know some Jey Uso haters are going to probably rejoice and be like, "Ha ha, we told you, guys." He's not the whole reason why this went south. Like it takes multiple people to screw something up, and that being said, I have high hopes that this is going to be a big finish, but one of the rare cases under Triple H in the last 2.5 years where I just like I'm not into it. I'm not into it. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys soon. Bye bye.